It's up to community standards. We periodically poll the community for input. Our 2024 satisfaction survey was conducted during the month of December, and results are currently being analyzed and will be reported to the board our next meeting in February. The RCSD has upgraded a number of facilities this past year. Resurfaced 3 tennis courts, converted 1 tennis court to 4 pickleball courts, replaced the flooring and carpeting in this auditorium, Rush Park, and that was offset by Proposition 68 state grant programs. And we slurry sealed our parking lot right here in Rush Park. Plans and specification have been submitted to Orange County Planning Department for approval of the long-awaited picnic structure at Rossmoor Park. I'm pleased to share the tremendous success of the 4 new pickleball courts at Rossmoor Park. The attendance and revenue have far exceeded our initial projections, and we are excited to see continued growth in the coming months. The project was truly proven to be a valuable addition to our community. As board president, I'm proud to announce that our district's urban forest has once again earned the prestigious Tree City USA designation for the 14th consecutive year. This recognition highlights our commitment to maintaining a healthy, substantial environment. Additionally, our proactive efforts in tree care earned us a finalist spot for the California Joint Powers Insurance Authority's prestigious Capstone Award. This honor is a testament to our focus on preventative maintenance, which has resulted in minimal claims despite managing over 5,000 trees. We are grateful for the recognition of our dedication to safety and longevity of our urban forest. Our efforts to educate the community regarding tree maintenance has resulted in very few citations being issued to residents for trimming violations. In addition, efforts have also been made to provide at least 1 parkway tree per district policy to each resident. Staff has made progress and will be finishing installation of trees at resident sites in the upcoming weeks. All of the programs, events, and well-maintained facilities are attributed to dedicated, well-trained, and caring district staff. Our training program is above reproach, and staff is well prepared for emergency situations and practice good safety procedures. The California Joint Powers Insurance Authority awards the RCSD a 2024 Risk Management Award for Best Overall Performance in the Workers' Compensation Program for non-municipal agencies. More than 200 public agency peers recognize our district. The Risk Management Awards highlight dedicated efforts and achievements in risk management by recognizing the CJPIE members and that have demonstrated excellence and effective leadership in the liability and workers' compensation programs. I would like to congratulate newly elected board director Mary Ann Remney and re-elected directors Tony DeMarco and Nathan Searles. Together with Director Joel Shade, I am confident that we can accomplish great things in the coming year. Our collective commitment to serving the Rossmoor community with integrity, transparency, and dedication will guide us as we work towards fostering a stronger, more vibrant future for all residents. As we start our new calendar year, RCSD has a few challenges ahead of it. 1, a new general manager. 2, a new accountant/accounting firm, and obviously new leadership on this board. I'm thankful that we have in place a practice leadership succession plan with our current officers, First Vice President DeMarco and our Second Vice President, Director Shade. Being president of the Rossmoor Community Service District Board of Directors has been an honor and a privilege. Over the years, I have witnessed the dedication, hard work, and collaboration that have made this community what it is today. Together, we faced challenges, celebrated success, and always kept the well-being of our residents at the heart of everything we do. It has truly been a privilege for me to serve. Thank you. With that said, though, it's time to elect some new officers. I will be sad to leave this desk. I will tell whoever sits here, you get what you put in. That's all I can say. So Mr. Mendoza.
We have our youth center presentation first.
Do we? I have this that I thought preceded it.
If you want to change it, that's fine. We can go either way.
Does anyone care which order we go in? Because I saw this and this, so.
The agenda says that the youth center would present first.
All right. I just had this also on my desk too, so okay. Actually, I love it. Lena.
I was going to say, she might have somewhere to be.
Welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me again. I have a clicker in here, so.
Yeah, I need to.
Rossmoor resident, he's been here for 30 years. He's more experienced. Oh, it's here. All right. Well, my name is Lena Lume. I'm executive director at the Youth Center. I've been at the Youth Center this year marks my 20th year. So I've been around Rossmoor and the partnership and the general managers, both of them, that we've been working hand to hand. And I'm proud to announce that this year we've done more with Rossmoor Community Service District than any years in the past. And I would like to give you a little bit update on what we've done. Here you could see all the activities that we've been doing in the community. The marketing and the branding for RCSD is always alongside with any time we do something. We were a part of the Arbor Day, and our kids loved planting trees at Rossmoor Park and Rush Park in the past. We've been featured in the newspapers. We've had now our big branded logo, and I'm happy to hear that this year, for the first time, we had more board members and Rossmoor staff and community at our events than ever before, so I want to thank you for that. Some of the community events that we've done, we had a lot of volunteers that we tried to send to Rossmoor too, because our kids love to volunteer and be a part of different events. We've been a part of 13 events this last year with 1,275 children that we served over this year. So very busy, lots of hands-on. We try to do our activities not just to promote the art. We love the art and we love doing crafts, but we added a lot of science activities. So the kids did a lot of slime. They learned about electricity. They blew up their own mini volcanoes, and we cleaned up after ourselves. Our Camp Shark, the program that started over 35 years ago when the local kids, didn't have any place to go during summer, and we partnered with RCSD, and we served about 80 children over summer in our day one. This year, we served a lot of kids. 424 kids went through our summer this year. 957 went on the bus trips, and 1,700 kids were a part of the enrichment classes. As we mentioned before, anytime we do something, we want to add the element of learning. Our Camp Shark stands for Science, Hands-on, Art, Recreation, and Knowledge. So it's always the kids are learning, the kids are moving. It's electronic-free camp, so no electronics allowed. And it's very local camp. So our families are so happy that they could walk to camp. They don't have to drive anywhere. The camp, and it's one of the best camps in the area, is right there in our neighborhood. Our after-school program at Rascals also improved. So we added a lot of activities throughout the week, and now we have every day there's something new. We not added sports activities, and again, science and learning is every day, but we added leadership and life skills too, because you will be surprised how many kids don't know how to do basic things like where the stamp goes on the envelope. They don't know how to address the envelope or, do basic things. So we're teaching them little life skills, one Monday at a time. And I just want to thank RCSD board and staff. Chris and Amara are amazing. They're always there for us. 12 months out of the year, Amir has always big smile on his face. Whenever the kids break something, he's right there with them. And Joe, thank you for being here for us and allowing us to serve this community, not just during summer, but year-round. And if you have any questions, and this young gentleman, I called him old all the time, but seasoned. He's an old resident here, over 35 years. His both kids grew up, and they actually were the first campers in our Camp Shark. They grew up in Camp Shark. Then their very first volunteer job was at Camp Shark. Then their very first job was at Camp Shark. And now Arnie Fine, he just lives 2 blocks from here, over 35 years.
Excuse me,
Oh, sorry.
over 40.
Over 40 years.
I moved in, I was very young.
And he's back serving on the board of directors at the Youth Center too. So big circle, keeping the programs in here locally for the community and quality. Do you guys have any questions?
Start on this side.
I have a comment. I just want to thank you for being the bedrock of youth in our community for as many years as you have. You make events and partnerships and money out of nothing like nobody I've ever seen before, and wanted to congratulate you this year on the culmination of your new building. That was amazing.
Thank
And we
you.
hope to have you several years.
Thank you. It takes the entire community to keep our doors open, so I do thank you for your kind words. It takes a village, and we work hard every single day to make sure we continue providing the top quality programs for our children and support families when they are in need and when the kids are in need, because money will come, but we want to make sure we're here for kids.
Director Shea.
I will reiterate what Marianne said, Director Marianne. I just want to also add, you're a delight, Lena. I adore you, and I love working with the Youth Center. You know that, and you always have my support. Thank you for everything that you do, and your amazing board. Thank you, Arnie.
They're incredible, hardworking people too.
Yes. Awesome.
Director DeMarco.
Just, Lena, thank you for all that you do for our community, and we are hoping that 2025 brings even more happiness to all our youngsters. Thank you.
We're excited.
Director Service.
Could you just kind of describe the Rascals program and the ages that are involved?
Absolutely. Our Rascals program was designed to keep the kids safe here in Rossmoor. We never had the after-school program. During school year here, the kids always had to cross the boulevard, and some of the kids were almost hit by a car, and the angry parents came to us and Joe and said, do something about it. So that's when the Rascals program was born. It has acronyms. It's Rossmoor After School Activities, and so we call it Little Rascals. And it's we go to Lee Elementary and Rossmoor Elementary, and we pick children from the school, and they walk to the Rossmoor Park, and then they have scheduled activities. They always have outside activities where they play and get their energy out. They do homework support, and then they have extracurriculum activities where every day is something new and focused on different skill and lots of fun.
And about when does Camp Shark registration open? I know it fills up fast, so.
The registrations open April 1st, and for all 3 of our summer programs, for Camp Shark, Teen Camp, and Leadership Academy. And we're proud that we do sell out fast, and I think the reason is because we want the best for our kids, and we don't settle for less. And people know, and they come back, and once families find us when they are 5, they stay with us until they graduate, and then they get jobs with us. So we're lucky. Knock, knock.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for all that you do. One thing I do want to point out, I really want to thank you for showing the amount of Rossmoor resident participation on one of the slides. We always are wondering, whether it's softball or this or other activities, what is the impact to Rossmoor? Obviously, it's the impact to all kids, but obviously we have a little bias here in Rossmoor, and that's our kids. So it's great to see that, over 50% of the participants of taking advantage of the programs and the sponsorships are indeed our kids. So thank you very much for including that. And for those who watch on TV and come to our organization, we always want to know how this affects Rossmoor residents and how many Rossmoor residents are involved. So thank you for adding that extra piece for us.
Absolutely. And you mentioned that our programs do sell out, and because of the partnership with RCSD, we do open our registration 2 days before our registration opens to anybody else. We open it for Rossmoor residents, and that's the reason why our numbers are so high, because they take the first spots. You want to say a couple of things?
Yeah.
Sorry.
I did want to say something. One of the things that I'm in charge of, we have an amazing golf tournament every year, and it's in July, second week, it's a Monday. This is our 10th tournament, and it was a dream of mine way back 10 plus years ago to have a golf tournament. The difference between our tournament and other tournaments is we allow youth to participate. So we've had kids as young as 7 and 8 years old participating. Now this year, I'm going to switch it up and do something a little bit different. I already mentioned it to Lena. My background is in special ed, and I used to teach special physical education many years ago. And I worked about 6 months ago, 7 months ago with a group of special ed children, and we were working with them at a golf course. So I'm going to invite a foursome this year with their dads. Their dads will have to accompany them to participate in our tournament, and hopefully they'll agree. But it's a great tournament. We sell out. It's at Rio Hondo Golf Course, which is a fun course if you've ever played there. If any of you come along, I tell the people on our board, just if you get one person, it can lead to 4 because you normally have buddies. So she's pushing me out. That's about it. I wanted to bring that up because she wasn't going to mention the golf tournament.
One quick question. How many golfers or participants do you have in the golf tournament? Just curious of
A sellout is 144.
144.
It's
Wow.
144, yeah.
Well, that's great.
Right. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ernie.
Back to the agenda here. Brings us to our election of officers. Mr. Mendoza.
Thank you, President Maynard and members of the board. It's time now, it's appropriate time to call for nominations for the office of President of the board for the calendar year 2025. Before the President calls for nominations, I just want to thank President Maynard for his leadership this year. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Are we able to go ahead and nominate?
Well, I was
Well,
going to start off. I'm going to start off with a nomination. As I mentioned in my state of district, we've got a lot of challenges ahead of us this year. A new general manager coming in, a new accountant with a new accounting company. We have a succession of leadership that I stand by. So I would like to first nominate Tony DeMarco, our first vice president. Is there a second?
And with that, since there's not a second, and I would like to nominate Director Joe Shade.
Okay, I'll second that.
Okay, so we have a first and a second. Carolyn, will you do roll call?
Roll call. Director Rimney?
No.
Director Shade?
No.
Director DeMarco?
Yes.
Director Searles?
No.
President Maynard?
Yes. Okay, with that, I'll open up. Does anybody have a nomination they'd like to put forward?
I'd like to nominate Director Nathan Sayerless.
I second that.
There's a second. Roll call, please.
Roll call for Director Searles. This will be Director Rimney?
Yes.
Director Shade?
Yes.
Director DeMarco?
Yes.
Director Searles?
Yes.
President Maynard?
Yes.
Thank you.
Do we continue or do we switch chairs at this point?
Switch chairs.
Switch chairs, okay. My snacks.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Your script.
Oh,
Oh, sorry. Thank you, Carolyn. Thank you, Michael. All right, I owe you a gavel. Unfortunately, as you didn't, do we have one, Tony? Oh, okay. Well,
That's-
thank you.
that's the missing gavel.
This is with great honor that I wish to present to Michael Maynard a gavel in appreciation of your service. Thank you, Tony.
No problem.
Oh. I have a proclamation here to read in honor of immediate past President Michael Maynard. Whereas Michael Maynard has served on the Board of Directors of the Rossmoor Community Services District for a total of 11 and a half years, Michael Maynard has served as President of the Board during 4 of those years and for the 5th time during the year of 2024. And whereas during his 2024 presidency, President Maynard helped to guide the district to a strong financial outlook, reserves have increased with approximately 1 year's operating expenses in reserve. The district also earned a clean and unmodified audit report with no material weaknesses from our auditing firm. And whereas during his tenure as president, Michael Maynard advocated on behalf of Rossmoor residents regarding many community traffic and county road issues, street sweeping issues, zip code issues, and continued the development of the collaborative relationships with the Los Alamitos Unified School District, neighboring cities, and the California State Assembly. And whereas President Michael Maynard coordinated many improvements in the district parks and facilities and promoted and supported modern communication methods and initiated advancement for the benefit and convenience of residents. And whereas President Michael Maynard provided outstanding leadership as president during 2024 by devoting many hours to serving on various RCSD committees, including most recently the Audit Committee, Budget Committee, Parks and Facilities Committee, and Personnel and Contract Administration Committee. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Directors of the Rossmoor Community Services District desires by this proclamation to acknowledge and commend outgoing President Michael Maynard for demonstrating outstanding leadership and for his exemplary accomplishments, kind demeanor, and dedicated service to the Rossmoor Community Services District and to the community of Rossmoor, presented this 14th day of January 2024. Thank you, Michael. And now we will call for candidates or nominees for the office of the first vice president. Shall we take any nominations for first vice president?
I'd like to nominate Director Remney for first vice president.
I'll second.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Director Remney has been nominated for first vice president.
Oh, okay.
We have a first and a second roll call, please.
Roll call. Director Maynard.
Aye.
Director DeMarco.
Aye.
Director Shade.
Aye.
Director Remney.
Yes.
President Searles.
Aye. Congratulations, Director Remney.
Thank you.
If you wish to change seats, you may, or however you feel here.
This is first.
You're okay.
Yeah, it's the first vice president here.
Or we can go through the next.
All right, she says let's just hold
Let's
on.
just finish.
Okay. Calls for nomination of the office of second vice president.
I'd like to nominate Director Shade for second vice president.
I'll second. Are there any other nominations for consideration?
Roll call, please.
Roll call, Director Rimney,
Yes.
Director Shade,
Yes.
Director DeMarco,
Aye.
Director Maynard,
Aye.
President Searles.
Aye. Congratulations, Director Shea. And that concludes our election of officers. Are there any additions to the agenda, Mr. Mendoza?
No, I'd just like to point out that in the process, we forgot to give Mr. Maynard a little gift that Carolyn had put together, and I'd like him to open it now. It's pretty cool. It's something for his desk.
There we go.
ahead.
Everyone
It's
gets
a
to see.
memory type opportunity.
It's a box. Oh,
Yeah. You can stay. You can go, Marianne.
it's a picture box, folks. Oh, very good. With artwork. Thank you for the picture of me looking astute, picture of me looking goofy. That goes hand in hand. Thank you so much.
Item C on the agenda, public forum. At this time, any person may address the Board of Directors upon any subject within the jurisdiction of the Rossmoor Community Services District. However, any matter that requires action may be referred to staff at the discretion of the board for report and action at a subsequent board meeting. Do we have any public forum, Mr. Mendoza? Go ahead, and if you could hand those to Mr. Mendoza.
Anybody else?
To address the final paragraph of the agenda packet, where Mr. Mendoza compares Rossmoor's court resurfacing project to that of Laurel Park in Los Alamitos, boasting that Rossmoor's $61,000 project was more resourceful than the $183,000 effort by Los Alamitos, and how pleased he is that the conversion was, quote, completed ahead of the increase in construction costs associated with these types of projects. His comparison is misleading and unfairly maligns our neighbor. And here's why. First, the $61,000 spent by Rossmoor went towards resurfacing courts that had 3 to 5 years of life remaining and did not need immediate attention. The justification that waiting would cost more later is weak and wasteful, especially for an unbudgeted project. Meanwhile, critical projects like Rossmoor Park's playground, which reached the end of its useful life in 2022, remain deferred. Likewise, a shade canopy promised in 2019 is still unfinished, with cost rising exponentially due to delays and mismanagement. Rossmoor's $61,000 project excluded key costs like fencing, bench replacement, and approximately $20,000 in noise mitigation recommended by their own consultant for optimum mitigation. It also ignored best practices in pickleball placement by putting courts too close to homes. Worse, the trial period for pickleball cost $17,000 and provided no objective data because the outcome was predetermined. By comparison, Los Alamitos' $183,000 project was not a simple resurfacing. It involved major repairs, fencing, and amenities. Rossmoor faced similar repairs in 2011, costing $40,000 back then. Comparing these projects is apples to oranges. In addition, Los Alamitos' tennis courts were 10 years old, while ours were 4.5 years into their useful life when approval was given for resurfacing. More concerning is the lack of truthfulness and transparency. When the bids were submitted for board approval, Mr. Mendoza refused to provide full bid details, despite repeated requests from directors Searles and Shade. Instead, Mr. Mendoza provided only his summary of the bids for review, which raises serious ethical questions and, in my opinion, speaks to deceptive governing. The general manager, who was hired by and serves at the pleasure of the board, intentionally obstructed and withheld information from board members with no legal justification for doing so. The details are always in the fine print, and in the end, True Line offered superior materials, but board members were unable to ask why this mattered or fully understand the decision at hand. Governance is meant to be open and transparent, and it's vital for public trust that such decision-making processes are conducted fairly and with full disclosure. It's difficult to envision a scenario where a governing body can acquiesce to an employee they hired and allow him to intentionally obstruct the right to view documents, and yet three of the directors found that totally acceptable, and directors Maynard, DeMarco, and Barkey voted to proceed with the $61,000 bid sight unseen. Why the secrecy? It demonstrates a long-standing pattern of mismanagement, misdirection, lack of honesty, and shortcuts that cannot be tolerated. Other cost-saving options were ignored as well. For example, one option presented by Mr. Mendoza included resurfacing one court for $7,500. Portable nets could have been used, as is done in many parks, and is certainly more cost-effective. But again, the majority three directors pushed through the full project, prioritizing a legacy pickleball project over necessary park improvements. Los Alamitos was more thoughtful in its planning, choosing only 2 pickleball courts to avoid noise and crowding issues. Rossmoor's rushed approach has led to parking congestion and safety concerns along Hedwig, with discussions to reduce girls' softball games to accommodate pickleball, potentially displacing a 50-year tradition. Meanwhile, Rossmoor Park suffered from deferred maintenance, including rusting, dilapidated metal containers behind each softball diamond at Rossmoor Park, and long-standing draining issues. And finally, the playground replacement and canopy promised under Prop 68 grant funds are still pending, despite a state contract entered into in early 2022. It appears as though much of the grant money spent for our parks have essentially been for routine maintenance and repairs, all of which should have been budgeted for. The community deserves transparency on how Prop 68 funds have been used, and I'm calling for an audit to ensure accountability. In reality, this project wasn't a victory in fiscal responsibility. It was unbudgeted, mismanaged, and prioritized shiny new courts over more urgent community needs. And that's the legacy being left behind.
Thank you. I'd like to remind our speakers of the 3-minute limit, and I would ask in our future agendas under public forum that we have a reminder that we do have a policy of 3 minutes per item. Go ahead, Ms. Kaplan.
Okay, thank you. In this month's board meeting agenda packet, Mr. Mendoza on page 62 referenced the completion of what he called an upgrade to Laurel Park that included the conversion of 1 tennis court into 2 pickleball courts and resurfacing of 3 tennis courts, and noted that Los Alamitos paid $183,000 while our CSD paid $61,000. He seemed to gloat that he got the job done a year before construction costs went up. I wanted to see for myself, so I took a bike ride, a simple 1.5-mile ride from Rossmoor to take a gander. After having seen the new Laurel Park tennis and pickleball project today on the corner of Catella and Bloomfield that the city of Los Alamitos built, I am frankly floored that Mr. Mendoza would want to draw our attention to it, because by comparison, Los Alamitos did a masterful job. Surely it was all meticulously planned and budgeted for, and well thought out in terms of location, quality, and amenities. This corner is largely industrial, lots of traffic, no residential homes in sight. And yes, their cost was about 3 times what our CSD's version cost, but the scope was on a grand scale, a complete construction of a brand new tennis and pickleball facility. 2 different projects entirely. Here are some contrasts and reason for the cost differential. The existing foundation of the courts at Laurel Park had to be demolished and re-poured with concrete for all 4 courts, and only then resurfaced. using high-end materials and 2 to 3 coats. Rossmoor simply resurfaced over existing foundation using 1 coat of inferior quality. That alone accounts for much of the costs above RCSD. Laurel Park installed entirely new 12-foot or higher perimeter fencing all around the entire forecourt facility, as well as 5-foot divider fencing partitions between courts, with barrier structures at the bottom of all perimeter fencing to keep the lower fence from curling in over time and allowing balls to escape. Rossmoor has old fencing with distortions at the bottom that allow balls to escape, and Mr. Mendoza's remedy has been to put plastic mesh that is torn and tattered to fill in gaps in the perimeter fence. Again, fencing costs for Laurel Park, along with the entirely new foundation, is another reason for the cost differential. Laurel Park has brand new windscreens on all 4 courts. Rossmoor has old dilapidated windscreens that are tattered and have to be trimmed periodically because the threads blow into the courts. RCSD did not invest in new windscreens, so again, new foundation, new fencing, new windscreens account for Laurel costs. New tennis nets and posts are additional Laurel Park costs. New solid benches with canopies for shade are also amenities Laurel installed, cute little cabanas, they call them. RCSD replaced perfectly functional, solid metal benches on each tennis court with plastic 5 and dime benches that weigh about 7 pounds each, with no shading canopy that Laurel benches have.
Please conclude soon, please. Can you conclude soon, please? It's been 3 minutes. The policy does not keep more than 1 person from a family from reading. If you wish to come, please.
At Laurel Park, the 2 pickleball courts are large and spacious and divided by a 5-foot fence so that each is independent of the other, with no balls or people crowding each other between courts. LaSalle thought through and made the determination that 4 courts was too crowded. Players liked the space, so they made the decision for 2-court construction. Rossmoor pickleball courts are 4, crammed into the space of 1 tennis court, crowded and often have errant balls to deal with, and people crossing over courts because of being so jam-packed. The pickleball court and the tennis court dividing fence is only 3 feet tall, and this was an additional cost RCSD made outside of the bid, and balls go over that quite often. Laurel Park installed new gates along with their new fencing, each at the end of a court so that any foot traffic is not in the middle of the court. People can walk behind a court if they need to. At Rossmoor, the gate that Mr. Mendoza installed between the PB court and the tennis court is right in the center, which invites the players to walk across the tennis court to get in and out of the court. And they do. Sue has played tennis, and pickleball players will walk right across the court in active play. Of course, Mr. Mendoza has called us simply recreational players, so I guess that's not a problem in his eyes, though I have often wondered if Hartwell Park treated Tiger Woods that way in that day. In summary, yes, LaSalle paid more money for their Laurel Park project, but the scope of their work was on a grand scale to create an entirely new and beautiful facility. Costs included demolition, tear down of old fencing, and then building new from the foundation up, a vastly more comprehensive project than simple resurfacing at Rossmoor. That's what a real project looks like. It's a horse of a different color, and we could have had that with the right planning. Reflecting back to when the whole topic of pickleball was first broached in 2022 or so, Mr. Mendoza claimed a whole new facility would cost upwards of $500,000. Kudos to Los Alamitos. Sounds like at $183,000, they got a fantastic facility and were fiscally responsible at the same time. And it all boiled down to one simple concept that RCSD promised but never delivered: doing it right. Thank you.
Seeing as there's no further public forum, we'll move on to item D, reports to the board. Item 1, recreation report, Recreation Superintendent Chris Argueta. Welcome, Chris.
Hello, everybody. I'll be brief. I'm just going to talk about some past events and upcoming events that are coming to Rossmoor. I'm going to start with the Harvest Festival. We had the Harvest Festival in collaboration with Thursday Farmers Market. It's the second time we did it, and this year it landed on Halloween, October 31st. And we had a bunch of fun activities and contests for the kids and adults as well. We included a pumpkin patch this year where they could come and just grab a pumpkin. We had pumpkin painting, we had cookie decorating, we had costume contests, we had crafts, we had a bounce house, we also added a trunk or treat, small area for trunk or treat. And we had some prizes for the kids, and we had some fun music and some fun photo opportunities as well for them. Next, we had Family Fun Day over at Rossmoor Park with, that was over at the tennis and pickleball courts, and that was with tennis instructor Bo Berglund and pickleball instructor Diana Abruscato. And they provided some free clinics for everybody, for all ages. There was tons of kids and families out there enjoying themselves. It was for beginners and intermediate players. They also offered some free equipment if they didn't have any equipment. They had some great healthy snacks, some cookies, some fruit. Drinks were available for them as well. There was, like I said, it was an open event for all ages. There's about close to 100 participants that day. And they were there for a couple hours, so it was good to see everybody out there. There was a lot of, all the courts were full, tennis and pickleball courts were both full, and everybody just seemed to enjoy themselves. We're gonna start discussing a future date, maybe do it again in the summer, just because it was a great turnout, and it was good to see everybody out there. And we'll get you the future date. It's probably gonna be in the summer. In early December, we had UCI Health come out for the December Rossmoor Senior Club right here in Rossmoor Rush Park Auditorium. We had a urologist come in, and the topic was overactive bladders. She discussed symptoms, gender differences, impact of quality of life, causes, diagnosing, and management. And she also did a Q&A at the end, and she also stuck around. There was a good attendance for that. We had about 80 seniors here. She stuck around later on and answered all the questions. She was great. And we're going to have them back soon. I'll go over that in a little bit. And the last one I want to mention is the Rossmoor Winterfest. That was December 14th, right here in the Rush Park parking lot. And another great event. We had local school performances, snow zone, a kids zone, vendors. We had great food trucks. Everything was packed. We had a pony ride, petting zoo, and then we had, of course, Santa come in on the fire engine as well for free photos for everybody. And great time, great turnout for everybody, and look forward to doing it again. I couldn't have done it without all the help of the RCSD staff and all our great volunteers. A lot of work goes into that, and it's just good seeing everybody enjoy themselves at the end of it. We have some upcoming events coming. Like I mentioned, we have UCI Health coming back. They'll be here on February 27th. And February is Heart Month, so they will be bringing a heart specialist for a presentation. And they will be talking about hypertension and high blood pressure for that one. So make sure to come on by. We'll post it on social media. You can RSVP, or you could just stop by as well. There's also going to be a Q&A for that at the end as well for that. We have, in March, we're going to have another shredding event with CR&R, and that's where we're going to do it in the parking lot here, March 8th from 9 to 12, and that's for residents. They come by and drop off and get their items shredded. They could stick around, or they could just take off and drop them off, but they're shredded on site, on location. Just giving you a heads up on that. We have May 10th is going to be our first festival. We have the Health and Wellness Festival coming back. That is again here at Rush Park. We're going to have classes and workshops offered, and great fun activities for the patrons at the event. There's going to be some great food options as well, healthy food options, and a lot of informative vendors, and they're probably going to do some fun stuff, add some fun stuff to it as well. Mentioned before, we have the Rossmoor Senior Club. It's going to be the second and fourth Thursdays of the month. It starts at 9:30 in this auditorium right here. We have coffee and snacks for everybody, and we have games, lectures, and just some social interaction that we're trying to incorporate. And we have some guest speakers lined up from UCI Health, Memorial Care, and Orange County Healthcare Agency on a variety of topics related to the senior community. We also have North Orange Continuing Education. They're offering some classes here as well, Tuesdays and Thursdays. If you want to contact them for further information, the number is 714-808-4679. We also have some stuff in the office if you want to stop by and check out their courses as well. We also have the festival dates for this year. Our festivals are the second Saturdays of the month. Like I mentioned before, the first one's May 10th. That's the Health and Wellness Festival. And then our family festivals are going to be June 14th, July 12th, August 9th, and September 13th. And then the winter festival will be December 13th. We're also going to have 3 movie nights, movies in the park. Those are going to be the third Fridays of the month. We're going to have that June 20th, July 18th, and August 15th for those. And then just ongoing stuff, like I mentioned, we have the farmers market every Thursday here in the parking lot, beginning at 4 o'clock. We also have the American Red Cross, third Wednesday of each month. It's actually, they'll be here tomorrow, January 15th. And we also have, Lena mentioned the Rascals after-school program, and that's building up again. And we have they have some great workers and volunteers over there working with the kids. They do games, crafts, sports, library stuff, and science and tutoring with the homework as well. And that's all I have for you guys.
Mr. Mendoza, did you have anything you'd like to
Yes,
add?
I just want to thank Chris. As Chris read off a lot of our programs, 90% of them are done through collaborations and partnerships. We have one staff, and we're able to carry off all these events with some help from our part-time staff, maintenance staff, really. So we're always looking for that partnership. We're always looking for somebody that can. We have classes that we offer now, dance, art, things like that. And some of those vendors will be coming back to you, and we will be doing some long-term requests, some long-term partnerships. Right now, we're kind of testing the market to see what will hold and if they're well received. And right now, a couple of them are, right, Chris?
Yeah.
And I just want to thank Chris. As I flew down here, I really had a lot of pride that that's what we've done, and we've talked about it, that we need to collaborate. We don't have the wherewithal to do it ourselves, and that's what we've been doing. Okay.
Thank you. Director DeMarco.
Chris, great job. Look forward to a busy 2025. I like, the partnership with UCI Health and bringing that in. That's amazing. I like that, and that expansion here in Rossmoor. Everything, this 2024 was a great year. We had a lot of events. A lot of people came and utilized either our festivals and stuff. So you and your staff doing a great job. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Director Shade.
Chris, what was the movie night in July? What date was that?
July, it's going to be July 18th.
Was that August 18th as well, or
August 15th.
15th? Thank
Yeah.
you. I'll make sure I got the dates right there. Thank you so much for everything that you do, Chris. You're always such a rock star. It amazes me, everything that you do. It really does. I'm so impressed by our staff that they do amazing work. I wanted to ask about I haven't heard this mentioned at all, really, but I think it's important, especially in lieu of what is going on right now with all the fires, is the blood drive that we have every month.
Yeah.
And needs to
Yeah.
be acknowledged and brought forward, because it's something that is great success, and I want to make sure that residents know that they need to come in and can give blood every month for our Red Cross blood drive. Look for dates, social media, website, all that good stuff. So please give blood if you can. It's
Yeah,
important.
it's the third Wednesday of each month, so it's
Thank
actually
you.
tomorrow.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's tomorrow. Bam, we'll be here. Awesome.
Director Maynard.
Yes, again, thank you for all that you do. With the Rossmoor Senior Club,
Yeah.
how has attendance been?
It's been hit or miss, to be honest with you. It's we talked about it with Carolyn. We're going to work on more marketing for it.
Is
it's
it a
just hard.
handful of people? Is it 10 people, 12 people?
It ranges from like 2 sometimes to like, for the UCI, that one they marketed not just Rossmoor, just more area, and they got a better response for that. It's kind of hard to market for the seniors sometimes. Social media, they don't always have social media, so we're just trying different ways.
Well, the plug be, if there's not that many people, more snacks. So you start advertising, we got more snacks than we can
Then
give
we
them.
have to eat the snacks, so.
Okay. For the blood drive,
Yeah.
who volunteers to get the volunteers? Who coordinates that? Do we coordinate having volunteers here to help the
For
Red
the blood
Cross? Or does
drive?
Red Cross come with volunteers that they've already signed up?
Yeah, they always.
They bring their own?
They're in-house, yeah, it's all, Red Cross handles all that.
Okay.
Yeah, they just utilize this space, but they handle everything.
They bring their own volunteers?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was just curious if anyone wanted to volunteer to help.
Oh, they might be able to do it through the website, but it's not through us.
It's not through the RCSD.
Through American Red Cross.
Okay, because reiterating what Joe Shade is if you can donate.
Yeah,
But for those who can't, how else can they help?
right,
Maybe they could come here and hand out juice or give someone a high five or something. you
Right.
know? Okay, thank you.
yeah,
That's
no
it.
problem.
Director Rimney?
First of all, I wanted to say everything you do is exceptional. Thank you so much. And a plug on the Red Cross. Tomorrow, there still is available openings. They truly need them right now. Our efforts are going in a different direction. As we know, the community is wonderful. And in answer to your question, as a Red Cross volunteer coordinator, that's exactly what it is. Anyone wanting more information about volunteers, they're always welcome and open and encouraged. Training will take about a week to be able to bring someone in. The more the merrier. We have things from on-site to virtual to hostessing. And thank you for the opportunity to give a plug.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you. I first would echo the senior health programming. I love that it's there and whatever we can do to get more. My question would be, we're coming up on a mid-year budget situation where we're going to review the budget. Is there any asks that you have as far as things you think we could have additional resources for that we haven't been sufficiently allocating?
I just think marketing is the key, I think. Just getting the word out there, and even word of mouth, I think, is key for it.
Okay.
There will be an ask.
Okay.
T-shirts, food, there's ways to get them involved. And we're working off, Chris, we're secured the database of that 80 member or 80 attendees that attended the other day. And we're going to get a database going and get things going, okay?
And Director Rimney?
You get by with whatever you're given, but if you had, it was mentioned that you are the one person doing the job. If another person could be allocated, would that help you?
Yeah, there's always, definitely help.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then it seems so long ago because we had our meeting before the Winter Festival, but we haven't had one since. And I just want to say thank you to Chris, to Joe, to Carolyn, everyone who was there. It was an incredible event. It's impressive that year after year it gets better. It's a tough bar you keep setting yourself for.
Yeah.
But great job, Chris.
Appreciate it.
It was awesome, and I love seeing the excitement of it all. And so thank you to everyone. And with that, thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
We'll move on to the consent calendar, agenda item E. Is there anyone who wishes to pull anything from the consent calendar? All right. Well, I will start. I want to pull item 2 and item 3. Is there any request on item 1? Go ahead.
So I move that we approve item E1.
A second. We can do just a general vote, right?
Mhm.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. So I requested that item 2 be pulled from the consent calendar just for clarification. Included in this was the credit card payment in our warrants to U.S. Bank, and it's page 48 of our agenda. I believe it's 49 of the PDF at the top, attachment 3 it is called. And I just asked that Mr. Mendoza itemize the line item for the U.S. Bank, the $13,618.31. Just for clarification for everyone, Mr. Mendoza has provided an itemized item per my request since, and it includes accounting codes for each transaction in that statement. And so with that, I'd move to approve with the supplementation of the itemization that was provided to the directors. Any further discussion?
Is this going to be, is this something you want included now in the revenue?
It was discussed that it was a timing issue, that it was provided in 1 month, then it wasn't provided in the next month. We asked, it was available. So it is available, but sometimes it's difficult with the timing of the agenda that we prepare. I now personally as president, I will work to see what we can do to get it included. It should be, if we're making the payment on the credit card, we should be having those entries already accounted for. We shouldn't be paying and then deciding what accounting entry it should go to. If we're paying it, we've acknowledged that it exists, and hence we should know what accounting area it belongs to, in my opinion. But again, that's something I, personally would work to help staff with timing.
If I may, President Searles, it's like you said, it's a timing issue. And it depends when the bank statement comes in and when we were able to get it to our accountant. But we do reconcile each receipt and put the accounting code on it before we pay it. And then it sits, and when the accountant comes in, he's able to get it, rectify it by himself. And then we, once again, have another opportunity to look at it with our president, which you will be looking at it, before we sign a check. Okay, so there's a lot of variables, yes.
Right, and I don't, to be clear, I don't doubt the accuracy or the transparency, but I do think if we're going to provide warrants in our consent packet, then we're signing off that everything is reviewed, but I don't think we can review as it's presented this way. So as best as possible, I would work to have these itemizations included. Otherwise, we could have a situation where someone puts all random expenditures on the credit card and we don't have them, visually allocated in any way. So we can't actually guarantee that the budget that we're also approving as being accurate for each month is actually true, because we haven't seen the individual allocations. Any further discussion?
I don't know, is there any more, we only have one credit card, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So
Mr. Mendoza, one credit card?
we only have one credit card. Is there any other statement details like this that have not, that have in the past have not been included? Or
No, those are always completed. They're put in our files along with the credit card statement, the bank statement, and the signatures. There's probably 4 signatures that take place before we plan it in miscellaneous first when we have time. Then once we have time to go through each credit card and put the code, the accountant has time to put it in those accounts. And so I'm very confident that it's a good process. I understand what Mr. Searles is asking for, and we might be a month late sometime then, because, but we can always provide it. It's there for anytime you want to see it. And I think President Maynard might understand, because he is tough on, he's been very tough on me and has not signed some checks because he didn't understand a number of times. I've not signed that check until you can tell me what that is. But it's coded and the receipt's there and it says what it is, but he's wondering, why did you buy that? Or why, what was the need? And we, traditionally go through it and discuss it.
Yeah, you'll see as president, when you have to sign checks, one of the checks is going to be to, I don't know, is it Chase, whatever the company is. You're going to see the bill, and you're going to see things, and you're probably going to circle it too and say, I just need to know more before I sign it.
Understood.
But for the rest of the board and transparency into the public, does this create any, you already said the timing kind of is difficult. It's not a hardship. It's just a practicality, or is there a way of, I mean, like you said, it might delay a month to actually have it?
Sometimes, our second Tuesday of the month is early, right?
Oh, okay, I
That's,
get that.
that's the
Okay.
issue, yes.
All right,
Okay.
okay.
Director Rumney.
When they first come in, they go into a miscellaneous category, and sometimes they're delayed. So when we're approving the budget, are we approving them all lumped in, or?
No, like this evening, if I may, this evening you approved the November revenue and expenditure report. They've already been rectified and put and coded into the proper accounts.
So these are done?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
And that is why I noticed it, is because it didn't show up as a miscellaneous part of
Yes.
our November numbers, but it was showing up in our November warrants as a miscellaneous. And that's what I'm saying, that inconsistency isn't something I think as a board we can ratify. We have to say there's an inconsistency, let's get that
I think
consistency.
the warrants might have been for December, I don't know. I
Well,
gotta
right now,
check that
the
out.
agenda says this is November 2024 revenue and expenditure report, and the December 2024 warrants and current leave at U.S. bank balance. That's what the consent calendar says.
Yeah.
Either way.
Yeah. So,
We'll examine it, and if we can fix it.
Well, as long as it's articulated in the consent calendar, so when we get the agenda, we see that, oh, this is for this particular period. It's never going to line up perfectly. We already know that. But at least what we're voting on and looking at will be detailed based on the date, what it is. Like, again, here it is January, and we're looking at November stuff.
correct.
Eventually, it's going to be voted upon as a governing body, as a board, but it's just articulated in the notes of what time period are we approving.
Correct. Any closed discussion? So I move to approve item E2.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. Item E3, 2025 RCSD Board Committee Assignments. Mr. Mendoza, if you could just briefly introduce that item.
Be happy to, President Ciros. Members of the board, as you know, we just changed chairs, and each year at this time we decide, or the president decides, it's at the discretion of the president to assign committee members in order for us to get rolling during the year and set schedules, set meeting dates, and begin the whole process of budgeting and whatever other goals that we have. So I don't think I can actually do this tonight, President Ciros, but if I can get this back as soon as possible after you discuss with a couple of the board members where you want to put them and who's going to buddy up with each other on each committee, because there's two members to each committee. But as soon as we get this, we have some meetings to schedule. So I'd appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you, and that's why I wanted to bring it up. I know it's in your general manager item, so I wanted it to kind of get it acknowledged now and not wait until the end of the meeting. But I will be working with the directors to do assignments and trying to match up experience with each of your goals as which committees you wish to be in. I don't believe there's any other action that needs to be taken with that, aside from there are no committee assignments at this time.
I was just curious why it's in consent tonight.
I think it's more an acknowledgement that we have to name, that I have to name committee members because they become.
I've never seen it in
Yeah.
our consent calendar before, so.
Again, I don't believe any actions taken other than Mr. Mendoza's acknowledging that we need to actually do assignments for 2025.
So postpone that till next month, then, approval of them?
Well,
We can't wait till.
I don't
we
think
can't
there's-
wait till next month. I would hope
Right.
that President Ciros can, in the next couple of days or 4 or 5 days, make decisions that we can get started on.
Exactly.
Again, I believe this item is more an acknowledgement of the vacancies and the need, in this case urgent, to fill those vacancies. So,
Let me defer to Tarquin, because I guess the issue is, does it have to be board approved? 3-2 vote, or can the president have, I think the president has discretion to make that decision.
Shouldn't even be-
Thank you.
shouldn't even be
General Manager Mendoza. I would honestly have to look at the policies. I don't recall off the top
We
of my
have it
head.
right here.
I think you just assign them.
You just
President.
I believe so as well.
You have the
Exactly
Okay.
what
And after you assign them, if the board has to approve them, we'll approve them next month. But I think historically, you just assign
Yeah,
the
right.
position so general manager can start arranging
Yeah, the
committee.
board doesn't approve the president's
Right.
recommendations and board assignments.
I understood, so.
Yeah.
I don't think any action needs to be taken, and we could, Tarquin, would it be more advisable to just acknowledge this part of the agenda, or should we defer action on it?
President Searles, you can certainly acknowledge it, and obviously it will come back, it has to come back at the next meeting for the actual assignments to be recorded in the record.
Okay, let's, so we'll acknowledge that there are vacancies on the committees at this time, and we expect that in our next board meeting, there will be announcements of the committee assignments. All righty.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just one quick question. Are there committee meetings that are going to take place between now and?
Yes.
That's the fervency?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
Move on to item F, public hearing. There is none. Item G, the regular calendar. Alrighty, well. I don't have the resolution before me, but I believe. Oh, okay, you're right. All right. Mr. Mendoza, would you like to go ahead and introduce item G1?
Sure, this is an annual request to the new board to designate board members that will be able to transact business with our financial institution, and that's UCB, United California Bank. And what I'm asking tonight is to approve resolution number 2501-1401, a resolution of the Board of Directors of the Rossmoor Community Services District designating certain district officials to transact business with financial institutions which house the district's investments, savings, and other financial accounts. I believe if you turn to page 50 of 52, is that right? 59 of 62, you can see that the president, vice president, second vice president, general manager, and our accountant, Michael Matsumoto, who has restricted access, will be representative of this group, and we, in turn, will send that to the bank, make sure we're in file and that everything is appropriately, I guess, documented. So that's what we're doing tonight.
Perfect, thank you. Any further discussion?
I have some.
Yes, Mr. Maynard, or Director Maynard.
Michael Matsumoto is a temp.
Right.
Is it appropriate to have a resolution knowing that this person's here for only another 30 or 60 days? Or should it just say auditing firm?
I don't know.
District auditing firm representative.
I'd have to check with the bank. I believe we have the opportunity to make a change when that happens.
So this will come back to the board
Right.
when it's a different person?
Right.
Okay, so this is a temporary resolution. Okay.
Any further discussion?
I'll make the motion, resolution, to adopt resolution number 2501-1401, a resolution of the Board of Directors of the Rossmoor Community Service District designating certain district officials to transact business with financial institutions which house the district's investments, savings, or other financial accounts.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Roll call for resolution number 2501-1401. Director DeMarco?
Aye.
Director Shade?
Aye.
Director Remney? Aye. Director Maynard?
Aye.
President Searles?
Aye. With that, resolution number 25-01-14-01 has passed. Thank you. Next item is item H, general manager items.
Thank you, President Searles, members of the board. I'll be as brief as possible. I have about 5 or 6 items I want to cover. One item that is not on my report that I want to add is anybody living along the Martha Ann corridor that has that footage between their fence and the freeway, I encourage you to please call me. My number is 562-430-3707. Carolyn will be putting out a social media blast inviting them to call. I've been working for a year now with Supervisor Doe's office, OCTA, the Caltrans, and everybody's, I'll be honest, just give me the runaround. And those people that are living along that corridor are really, there's a heightened alert now because of the fires. There's a lot of overgrown trees, weeds, that has not been taken care of. And in the past, I was able to call Caltrans once a year and they come out and do it. Caltrans is now kicking it to OCTA, and OCTA is not responding. I've contacted Janet Wynn's office, and I've been working with Joe Pena. He emailed me today that he has made contact with OCTA, and they will call me, but so far I've not received a call. This is an ongoing issue with those people that live along that corridor. It's not fair, and I can understand why they're worrisome. So we're on it, but please call me, and once again, Carolyn will put out a blast tomorrow, okay?
Mr. Mendoza, can I ask a question? I know one of the items that's come up with the LA County fires is like an emergency number kind of situation, and whether you'd be able to help put those people also in contact with any emergency services should they need to be notified.
Yeah, I think it would most likely be, I don't know about LA County, but Orange
I
County.
think, I'm just saying, when you're having
I
that
get you.
discussion,
Sure.
let them know what the emergency,
Sure.
whatever, OC, what is it?
Yeah.
No, but the county's emergency
OC services,
response.
yeah. My OC, yeah.
Yeah, so just make sure they,
Sure.
connect with that as well.
Will do.
Thank you.
I have about a dozen residents who I have on a list, and we keep contact with them, and they know we're trying. So, FYI. Capital improvements, the Rossmoor Canopy project is in plan check. We have paid our fees for the plan check, and we should be getting that back in the next couple weeks, and then we will be able to begin ordering supplies and going out to bid for an installer. Tenant timeline for the canopy is unknown. I would imagine the next 2 or 3 months we'll have it in ground, depending on the expediency of securing equipment and also the plan check process. Mid-year budget is coming up, and I want to point out that President Maynard has asked me to get a little more detailed, and I heard President Searles ask Chris Argueta or I think Director Remne asked if additional staff would make a difference. And yes, but there's budget considerations, and as I said at the beginning, President Maynard has tasked me with doing some requests, and so I'm doing 3 things. I'm giving a perfect world example. Hey, if it's a perfect world, what would it look like? How many staff would we have? What would they be doing? What hours would we be covering? And what would they be supplementing and working on? 2 is a mid-range. And then the 3rd one is where we're at now, because we're bare bones. But I take responsibility. We've grown. We've done some things, and we've created some programming. And either we cap it, or if we're going to go on, we need to make some decisions. So that'll be provided in the mid-year. So that's Wednesday, January 22nd. There'll be a mid-year budget committee. Our accountant, Michael Matsumoto, will also be on hand. Next meeting for the Personnel and Contracts Committee is to be determined. That's why we need the committee members and before we set a date. But the contracts that are up are Land Care, and I already have a proposal for them. They have an extension possibility. We'll be looking at elite special events for our festivals, And our financial accounting services, we are getting bids right now, and that will be presented at that time also. I want to point out that, so everybody's kind of secure here, that Mr. Matsumoto will stay on to the end of February. I talked to him today and said, hey, if things don't work out, you got a couple more days you can give us, and he said, sure. So we will work that out if we need. We've taken on an issue with the planting of parkway trees in front of homes. That we have a policy that reads that each home in Rossmoor has at least one parkway tree. Over the years, there's been about 30 or 40 residents that push back and do not want a parkway tree for one reason or another. And we've notified them that we are planting a parkway tree. So I would say we're down to about 10, 11 that are still kind of pushing back, and our attorney, Tarquin Preziosi, and I put together a letter letting them know that we do have the jurisdiction over the parkway. There's a lot of questions whether we do or not. I will share that with the board. Tomorrow I'll send out what we've sent, and we plan on a second planting probably in February, first part of February. We have a slight window that we do that because of the season. Right now, we're in the process of planting trees. We've done our parks. I don't know if you noticed them out here, but now they've been going around to about 20 residents, and they're planting trees. The third issue here, which we will take on, and we've already started the process with code enforcement, is there's about 10 to 15 homes that you can't plant a tree because they're out of compliance. They've over landscaped, they've cemented in, they've put, whatever. And so code enforcement is going to be contacting them and making sure that they provide a spot for us to plant a tree. So the goal is to be 100% compliance and not to have any vacant trees.
When you say code enforcement, as a resident, I'm not sure, what am I allowed to do in quote-unquote some kind of hardscape in our property? What can the resident do and what can't they do? When would a resident be out of compliance?
I will provide that to you, but I believe, but you can't hardscape the whole front.
The whole thing?
Yeah, and you can't, rock it in or you can't put any
You can put pavers, but you can't do cement.
But you got
whatever the rules are, I think
right.
everyone needs to know, because I've never been clear on it.
Okay, we will put that out.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. I'll make sure we do that. On the other, another one is, I'm proud to report that we had no significant tree issues during the winds. I know we have some more winds coming up, but that's a tribute to our practice on how we maintain our trees. The last one is, I know a couple residents brought up the Los Alamitos Laurel Park project. I commend them. It's a beautiful project, and I wasn't trying to diminish their efforts or the results. All I was doing was comparing. It's always good. We compare all the time. In fact, I'm looking at the cost of the CO Beach Tennis Center and how much that cost to do, because it's always good to compare costs and know where you're at, what you spent, and things like that. But to clarify it, I have the reports here from the Los Alamitos City Council, and the fencing project alone was $93,180. The tennis court resurfacing, which we did a basketball court that they didn't do, was $183,228. And so what I was pointing out was, I don't think they, just threw money at something. I think that from the time we did it to now, things went up in price, and I'm worried about the picnic shelter. We're going to see what happens there, but the costs have went up. That's my point. We were lucky we got in when we did, and, so no defense here other than just clarification. So that concludes my report. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Director Maynard, anything further?
Yes.
For Mr. Mendoza, any questions other than what you've already?
No, just the one that
Okay.
that I just already called on. So
All right.
I'm good.
Director Remne,
I'm good, thanks.
Director Shade,
I'm good, thank you.
Director DeMarco.
Joe, on the Martha Ann, so you said you've got about 10 or 11 residents that back?
I'm encouraging them to, the only way I can see this happening is by going to Supervisor Wynn's office.
Yeah.
And I've been in contact with Joe Pena, her deputy. Joe, like I said, texted me today, said I finally made contact with OCTA, but he didn't give me that contact. So I said, Joe, it would really be nice for you to give me that contact. You know, I don't want to wait for them to contact me because that might never happen.
Yeah,
So we're going to keep pushing. And as you know, we started this process with Supervisor Doe's office. As you know,
Yeah.
you know what happened to Supervisor Doe. So he wasn't reacting at all to any request. You know, unfortunately.
Are there any residents that have, are a little more outspoken on this subject?
Oh, I've given them numbers, and I've given them the OCs.
And
my
are they
service.
sending pictures of their high
Yes.
brush in the back?
Yes.
Because that tends to do
Well,
it.
not only that, it's inviting homeless encampment.
Yeah.
You know, it's a fire hazard.
All
Yep.
kinds of
Yeah.
issues.
No, it's
So
a-
I talked to our captain tonight about it, and he's going to make
All
some
right.
calls also, yeah.
okay. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mendoza. We'll move on to board member items. Director DeMarco.
Let's see. You know, well, first of all, I was at the Janet Wynn swearing in the other day. There was a lot of people there. It was at one of the centers on Miles Square Park in Fountain Valley, but that was a very nice event, and we look forward to working with our new supervisor, and hopefully we, you know, get services and help with issues just like Joe just brought up. So it was a good event. I was glad I was able to attend. So it was already mentioned, but, you know, in lieu, but even more so with, you know, the fires and the need, our blood drive tomorrow, I think, is critical. It's always critical when we have it, and if any of our residents can come and give blood, that'd be fantastic. I know the captain was here, and just before he left, he was talking to Director Maynard and I about e-bikes, and we were asking him about the cities, because of the new e-bike laws that have passed or were signed last year, that cities are changing their ordinances. So he told us, I just want to share this with the board, that he was going to be here next month to go over some of those and what the county's doing, what he's doing. So I thought that was insightful. And then just lastly, certainly, you know, I have a store in LA County and in Los Angeles, so this is, you know, certainly, it hasn't really hit Orange County as hard, luckily, and I'm talking about the fires. Just, you know, the sympathy then that I feel, you know, the day after those fires at my store, you looked up and to the east, it was blue sky, and to the west was just awful black gooky stuff. It was just horrible. So just my heart goes out to all of those residents that lost their house, the businesses, that total destruction. So hearts and prayers go out to all those individuals. And you know, these tragedies like this are like a wake-up call, even to our little, you know, community of Rossmoor, just like Mr. Mendoza brings up about just the you know, the foliage in the back of Martha Ann, how just a spark and a fire with wind, what destruction it can do. And we should not take this lightly. We should try to, you know, and I'm hopefully Mr. Mendoza and, you know, all of us can push our elected leaders and local government to make Rossmoor and its fringes around Rossmoor as safe as possible. So that's it. Thank you.
Director Shade.
Okay, so I'd like to thank Lena for coming in, talking about her youth center programs that she's got going on there. They've been an amazing partnership for us, and I appreciate everything that they do. I love all the work that she's done, and I love working with her, and that we work with her. I appreciate the comments from the public and all that they give us on feedback. So I encourage our residents to come in and share any feedback, because we do take it seriously and we take it to heart, and we make sure that we try to do the best job that we can on that. So please, by all means, come in and do your feedback, because it's important. The blood drive for tomorrow, I mentioned that we need to come in if we can, because it is important for the, not only just to, but the fire situation has really shined the light, and encourage everybody to come out to do what they can, and something that we can do that's in our backyard that we're having tomorrow. So by all means, come out if you can. It's huge. I'd like to thank Los Al High School for doing what they did on their collections. It was insanely successful. Over the weekend, they had a collection, and it was incredible, and they did a fabulous job. So I want to give kudos to them for all the hard work that they did, and all our residents that went out to go help them, and our students, and it was an amazing event. I'd like to say congratulations to our new president, Nathan. It's been a long time coming for him, and it's well deserved, and I'm delighted that you are our new president, and given the opportunity, I appreciate the nomination that I was given. I appreciate it more than I can tell you, but I think it's time to give credit where credit is due, and he's paid his dues, and he needs to do his time as president, so that's why I voted for him. So congratulations.
Thank you.
And thank you, Joe, for everything that you do for us and have done for us, and it's appreciated. I just want to say that as well.
Director Maynard.
Welcome to the big seat, President Searles. I do want to put out an invitation if you'd like to get together in between now to go over committees, thoughts, exit interview, if you will. As president, I'd be happy to lend my hand to the new chair that you sit in. I do want to encourage anybody who lives on Martha Ann in the corridor to take pictures, to look over your wall, to communicate with Mr. Mendoza. The fires in LA are just horrific. And with budget cuts and people not clearing forests and stuff like that, now's the time that if we see an opportunity, these won't land on deaf ears like they have in the past. So whatever we can do to make Rossmoor and our surrounding communities safer is needed. And when I say it's needed for the community itself to call and talk with Joe, and so we can get them on board of let's clear it up and let's protect all of Rossmoor. I want to thank this board for being a cooperative board while I was president. Like I said, it was a privilege to serve. So welcome to the new leadership team, Director Remne. And what else? Did I have any notes earlier that I wanted to comment on? I don't really think so, and if it was, it wasn't that big of a deal. No, that's it.
Thank you. Director Remne.
Director Shade stole my thunder and said just about everything I was thinking. My heart is so big with this community and everything that's going on. The one thing I'd like to add is the shredding event in March that the RCSD hosts for CR&R is great, and wanted to mention the quarterly shredding event that's coming up Saturday, January 25th that the RHA hosts. It'll be at Lee Parking Lot, and we have there are new sponsors for it, Marnie Rice and Nina Shao from Rossmoor Lux Properties, and Patricia Megalone from State Farm Insurance. Cannot thank them enough for stepping up. The shredding events are cost-free to our residents, and all of these efforts towards environmental sustainability and recycling are truly appreciated. So it will be there Saturday the 25th, kicks off at 8 a.m. until the truck fills.
All right, thank you.
Until the truck fills.
I would like to begin with thanks to my colleagues for your support. I take the responsibility at heart and look forward to the successes of the board and our community. I would like to thank our sponsors from the Winter Festival. Without them, it's not possible. Staff, sponsors, you do an incredible job. It's amazing what happiness looks like, and that is definitely a great example of that. I'd like to, echo the thoughts of, thanks to our Rossmoor community for the incredible giving and support to those who've experienced and continue to deal with the challenges of the LA County fires. Incredible part of that is thanks to our Red Cross, our CERT, our Neighborhood Watch, and other community members who volunteer every day to be ready. And so to them, thank you, because you're doing it before we need it, and when it comes time, we'll all be thankful, so thank you. With that, I believe we will suspend our open meeting and move to closed session, but before we do so, as is usual of practice, most of the audience leaves at this point, so I'd like to thank the audience who is here tonight for attending. We do appreciate your attendance. So thank you. We're going to move to closed session at this time. Thank you.
If there is any public comment.
Any public comment as to the closed session? Is that what you're asking for?
Correct.
Okay. Is there any public comment regarding the agenda for closed session? From the audience, it was said, choose wisely. Thank you so much. Thank you. No further public comment. I will move to closed session at this time.
Correct.
Okay, we're back on the record. It is 10:15. We are returning from closed session. I'll refer to Council Tarquin, please.
Thank you, President Searles. While in closed session, I have the following closed session report. While in closed session, the Board of Directors gave direction to the previously formed committee that consists of Director Remne and Director DeMarco to further negotiate terms of a potential employment contract with a candidate. The board also discussed, and the general manager agreed to extend the terms of his employment with the district through May 9th to ensure a continuation of operations of the district to be further ratified by a written contract that will come back for the board's approval at the next board meeting. And that concludes the closed session report.
Thank you, Tarquin. That will move on to item K of the agenda, general counsel items.
I have said enough.
Thank you, Tarquin. With that, we will move to adjourn this regular meeting of the RCSD for January 14th, and in honor of immediate past President Michael Maynard, I'd ask that you adjourn our meeting to this evening.
Meeting adjourned.
PIFC.
I know, but you have to adjourn this one first.
It's two separate meetings.
Do I need to move?
Right, but we're going right into this one.
Hello, everybody. Today is Tuesday, January 14th, 2024. We are now in the Rossmoor Community Service District Public Improvement Financing Corporation, our regular annual meeting. Can we please have a call to order? Actually, I just called order. Can we please have a roll call? It's a late night, guys.
This is roll call for the PIFC meeting. Director DeMarco.
Here.
Director Shade.
Here.
Director Remne. Here. Director Searles.
Here.
President Maynard.
Here. It's not on the agenda, but let's do it. Tony DeMarco, will you lead us in Pledge of the Allegiance? Sure. Thank you. Next up, we have minutes from our PIFC meeting last year on January 9th. So, is there a motion to accept those minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor of accepting those minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Do I need to abstain on that?
You
I
don't
wasn't
have to
here.
abstain. You can, you don't have to.
Oh, I'll abstain.
And one abstain, please note. So we are now at election of officers. Mr. Mendoza.
I believe I would like to open the nominations for the office of president for the Public Improvements Financial Corporation. Are there any nominations for this office of president?
I will nominate Director Searles as president.
Second.
Okay, we have a first and a second. Will you please do a roll call?
Roll call for the presidential office of the PIFC Corporation. Director DeMarco.
Aye. Yes.
Director Shade.
Yes.
Director Remne.
Yes.
Director Searles.
Yes.
President Maynard.
Yes.
Thank you.
Do a flip?
Okay, thank you all. We'll move on to the nominations for the first vice president. Do we have any nominations?
I nominate Director Mary Ann Remney.
Do I have a second?
Second?
Second by Director Shade. I have a roll call vote for the first vice president.
Roll call vote for the first vice president of the PIFC Corporation. Director DeMarco?
Yes.
Director Shade?
Yes.
Director Rimney?
Yes.
Director Maynard?
Yes.
President Searles?
Yes.
You could have.
I'm moving on to the second vice president. Do I have any?
There isn't a second vice president of this
Oh,
group.
okay.
Just the two.
Thank you for the
We'll do this
clarification. I was
one.
pulling up the agenda to actually see it here.
Clarification.
We go to G.
Any, no additions to the agenda? Any public forum? Seeing none. Reports to the board? We have none on the agenda. Nothing on the consent calendar. Public hearing, seeing no one present. We move on to resolutions. G, resolution number 25-01-14-01, resolution of the Board of Directors of the Rossmoor Community Services District, Public Improvements Financing Corporation, electing officers, appointing counsel and secretary, chief financial officer to the corporation, and designating the time and place for holding the regular meetings of the board. Do you have any discussion? Do I have anyone wish to move as offered?
Sure, I move as offered.
A second?
Second?
Get a roll call?
That's not a roll call.
It's not?
Is it roll call for resolution number 25?
Resolution's not
Oh,
roll
we're at resolution? I thought you
roll call,
were
yeah.
saying consent calendar.
call? No, we moved past
No,
it.
we're
Oh,
resolution.
wow.
It's late.
Oh, so someone needs to read the resolution then?
He did.
He did? Okay.
Oh, wait a second. Oh, we were already into the motion because I wanted to ask a question about the
What this is?
corporation. No,
Oh,
I can ask it later.
That's- Okay, because we're into G in discussion. It's still open for discussion, G, if you,
No, we're in the resolution, that's fine.
okay.
First and second.
so there's a
And there's a
motion on the
second.
resolution to accept the resolution
Yep.
and a second. It's
Roll
time for roll
call.
call. Okay, okay.
This is a roll call vote for resolution number 25-01-14-01 for the Public Improvement Financing Corporation.
I apologize. I do need some clarification from Tarquin. The bottom of the resolution that's presented before us says Board of Directors, Rossmoor Community Services District. Should that include the language regarding the Public Improvements Financing Corporation?
Correct.
Okay. Well, do the directors understand the request?
Yes, yep.
The clarification? All right. Assuming that change is made, I believe we're all in agreement. So go ahead with the roll call vote, please.
Director DeMarco?
Yes.
Director Shade?
Yes.
Director Rimney?
Yes.
Director Maynard?
Yeah.
President Searles?
Aye. And it passes 5-0. Thank you. Any board member, we have no bids, contracts, and agreement, no administrative items, no information items, board member items. Director DeMarco?
Nothing.
Director Shade?
Nothing.
Director Maynard?
Nothing.
Director Rimney?
Yeah, I just got a question. What's the status of the the franchise tax board suspension?
We have submitted an application to reinstate our nonprofit status. We were told when we submitted that it would take at least 3 months for them to review and get back to us. We submitted, I'm going to say, early part of October, and just received in the mail in December a notice of receipt, which means to me there's still another 3 months before we're going to hear anything.
Yes, progress, though.
Yes.
What's the other one?
Good job, thank you.
We put it on our tax. Go over there.
I also brought us up to speed with the Secretary of State by filing a statement of information, and also with the Franchise Tax Board by bringing all of the tax forms current to date.
Thank you.
No closed session. I will move for adjournment unless there's any objection. All right, we are adjourned. Thank you all.